This week we're going to be covering light logic, which is going to be really exciting considering all the things that we've started to learn about already. We've been covering perspective, we've been covering sighting, unit of measure, line work, and now getting to this point in the class, we're going to start to cover light logic. We're going to be using charcoal. We're going to be digging into making these beautiful values, different shades of gray. And so everything that we learned so far can be applied to this, but now we're going to be working with values as well as mark making with our charcoal. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So for this, I want you to create a setup to draw from. I want you to grab a really simple object, like for example, this mug that I have here. This simple object, you don't want it to have any pattern, you don't want it to have any texture, you want it to be pretty blank because we're just studying the way that the light falls onto the object. So for your setup, you're gonna grab something really simple, like a ceramic mug is great, a ceramic bowl. And then you want it to also be in some sort of backdrop. So the backdrop I have here, it's sitting on top of a blank wooden panel, on top of a white table with a blank cardboard backing. This is all the simplicity of this is going to make it really easy for us to study the way light is interacting with all these objects that are before us. So up over in this area on the upper left, I do have a clip lamp. These are great. You can clip it to anything and it'll, you can direct the light really easy with a clip lamp. It's $7, it's from Lowe's, but any lamp will do. In this room right now, I have only a clip lamp on and all the other lights are off, the windows are shut. So my lighting right now in this room is really controlled, which is really important for this study and of light logic. So I have my light, it's coming from here and it's falling down onto my really simple white mug here. And I can see different things happening with the light. I can see here we have highlights. You can sit and study some highlights on the lip of my mug here. I see that there is kind of a highlight right here as well. There are these midtones, gets darker here with the midtones. And then I even have a little bit of a reverse highlight right here. So I can see that the light is casting down onto the handle here. And it's even, there's a tiny little highlight that insinuates the edge of the handle. And then also we have the cast shadow here, the cast shadow here as well. And I can also even see how on the cardboard backing, whoops, this is a cat toy that I'm using to point. You can see on the cardboard backing how it's lighter up here and then it gets darker down over here. So when you are studying your simple object for this next drawing, we're going to use a technique called the reductive charcoal process, which you will see in the second video for this week. So when we start this drawing, I want you to look at the highlights, the brightest whites on your object, as well as the darkest shadows on your object. So the darkest shadows, besides, the cast shadow, is going to be the intersection of objects, or where an object sits on top of another. So down here, you can see where the mug is sitting on top of the surface is really, really dark. You can also see the edges of where these panels are sitting on top of each other are really dark as well. So when you set it up, just start looking at the way that the light is creating the highlights and the way that it's creating the shadows as well. And then you can even start to notice something like a reverse highlight. It kind of might be a little bit hard to see in this photo here, but a reverse highlight, as I mentioned before, is if the light is coming down from here and it's creating a highlight over here on the left, there will be a lighter highlight somewhere within the shape of this core shadow. So keep that in mind when you're working in all these tones of gray or values. Everything is going to be relative, and you want to really make sure that you're not just drawing the object, but you're drawing the object with its surroundings because seeing the object in its surroundings, that's really when all of the light starts to play off one another. I mean, even I can see here too that, so this light is coming down. Not only is it hitting my mug, it's hitting the surface that the mug is sitting on. And I can see that the light that falls on this surface is being reflected back into the mug somewhere in here. So when the light hits anything, right, it's traveling, it's hitting all of these different parts of these objects in its path. All of the light is going to bounce off of each other, and it's all going to be relative to one another. So like I said, just get that entire area, the object and the background. It's all going to be very important for this. All right, get to work, have fun.